Hello everybody. In this video, as always, we'll talk about the TheAnimeScripter and the release of 2.4.0. This release will bring changes towards compatibility and bug fixes primarily. A couple of new features as well, but I'm going to discuss most of the new things that have changed from version 2.2.2 all the way to the version 2.4.0. Let's talk about the biggest change that may impact some people. As you may already know, NVIDIA has discontinued the support for NVIDIA Pascal and Volta GPUs, meaning any Titan X or 1000 series like GTX 1070, 1080, 1080 Ti are no longer supported. They still got some driver updates, but they're no longer supported, in the sense that they will no longer receive updates sooner or later. With this, many libraries, primarily PyTorch is the backbone of TAS and what TAS is based upon, has also dropped support for it. There's a couple of workarounds. You can install like the CUDA 12.6 version, but it's pretty painful to figure out what GPU you have and whatnot. So for now, there's no support for it. If there's enough user demand, I may tinker about it and see if I can figure out a way in which I can add back support for it. But based on the poll recently ran in the Discord server, there's not too many people running GTX 1000 series anymore. And honestly, if NVIDIA has dropped support for it, I see no reason to also provide support for it. It's pretty reasonable. Anyway, going back to the UI, you will see a couple of new things. Primarily, there's no longer those names in the tab list. There's now just simple icons. I've also switched from using Yarn to Bun, which may provide some performance improvements, although I believe it all compiles down to Node.js, so it mostly gets negated probably. Anyway, let's talk about the technical side of things. So, or rather UI aspect. Input, all of them will now have a little showcase of what's your base input and what can you expect as an output. For example, in this case, the base composition settings is 23.976 with a 2x interpolation factor is 47. Let's say I choose 16x, it's gonna be 383. The same thing goes for resize input, upscale, and the newly added function resize output. With the resize output, you can select what resolution you want as an output. This is primarily in case if you, for example, don't have a system that's powerful enough to run or decode 100 videos in 4K. So you want to dial it down. Maybe you want to only have a 2K video and don't want to bother with the 4K. You can dial it down, upscale your base clip from 1080p to 4K, and then downscale it back to 1440p. It should help, although keep in mind you are gonna lose some detail, obviously, because you're still, at the end of the day, you're downscaling your upscale output, but it's still gonna look tons better than the original input. You can even select 1920 by 1080, so you like upscale from 1920 by 1080 to 4K and then back to full HD, I guess. I've added a new feature that I really like, is the breadcrumbs. Sorry for the mispronunciation. It will show you all of the steps the input takes throughout your whole workload. So for example, let's say we also resize, we want to interpolate, we want to upscale, we want to resize the output. It will show you everything. The base input is full HD with 24 FPS basically. We resize it by 2x to 4K. And then we also interpolate it from 23.976 to 383 or 16x interpolation. We also upscale it, and then at the end, I just want it to full HD, and it will do it automatically for you. It will show you everything, and this way you get a bit more transparency of what's going on with the base input. Do keep in mind that this does not update with in real time basically. So if I change it from 936, it's not going to update. I need to refresh it basically. And that's just a limitation, or rather just something I've added in case in order to not constantly fetch the data from After Effects, because constantly communicating with After Effects can introduce some slowdowns, which I do not want to mess with, preferably. This way you will always have a little helper, just so you know what resize input you took, so you don't just start guessing, oh yeah, it should look like this, it should be this, and then this, and then this. But yeah, it shows you the whole path. All right, let's go to effects. What have I added in the extract depth map? Oh yeah, before I forget, I fixed the YouTube downloads. They should work now up to some level. I've added demo large CUDA, OG depth anything. Demo distilled large V2 CUDA. This is the mediocre quality, or rather my implementation of it, which is like 2 or 3, 4 times faster. I'm not exactly sure what the number was anymore, but this is significantly faster than the OG implementation. And yeah, you have an option for those. I've also added distilled small TensorRT versions. These are the quote-unquote better variants of the original release. I've added them as an option. You can run them in TensorRT and it's significantly faster. There's also an OG version for all of these. Primarily, it still uses the OG implementation quote-unquote, but it does some of the trickery within NumPy to rescale, resize the output. It looks a bit better than the normal implementation, but do keep in mind that the OG implementation is a lot slower than the optimized one that I've added. Yeah, these are also present in DirectML now as well. This still small V2, all present for AMD and Intel GPU users. I've also added examples for some of them, not all of them, but yeah, they should mostly have, most of them should have examples. I've added back the encoding option, ProRes 404HQ. You can encode in ProRes now if you wish to do so. You're more than welcome. I've also changed the UI a bit, so this can now collapse just to make it a bit smaller, save on space a bit if I can, wherever I can. In the tool tab, I'm not sure if I talked about this in 2.2.2. I'm not sure if it was released before, but now you have a viewport zoom. You can manually zoom in, and then in case if you don't like these ones, you want something a bit more. I want something like 205%, but you don't have this option here. You can do 205% zoom. It's basically just a more quote-unquote accurate or in-depth zooming option compared to the one built in. I fixed sort layers. There was some bug with it. It should be slightly better now. Now comes the biggest change. This is an early version of my implementation of a graph editor, or Flow. Many people use Flow. This is my implementation of it. It has both a play animation, so you can see how the animation plays out. You can play with it. It shows you exactly, you can even change the duration of it if you want to check for a different duration. It shows you the Bezier values. You can also manually type them in. You can reset it. You can use one of the many presets I have added here, and you can also generate custom presets. So add preset, and boom, you have a preset done. This gets stored in and you will have them forever. I'm still working on it. It's, as mentioned here, early alpha. I've only tested it on After Effects 2025. Give me feedback on it. Let me know if you used it, how much you like it, what would you change about it. But yeah, it's a new feature that I'm really happy to have now. Process logs have been changed. I've also added a auto scroll feature. This way, if you want to read some line in the middle, it doesn't just constantly go to the latest line, or you can just basically keep reading the lines of the output without you having to constantly scroll up after the process is done. Yeah, that's about it in the log tab. in the About tab, I've changed it a bit around. And there's a thank you to everyone who supports TAS now. Again, thank you to everyone who supports TAS. You're more than welcome to help out with the development. There's also now, it has been slightly changed. It looks a bit better now, a bit cleaner. There's also this very important thing. Please change your settings, because many people try to run depth maps and they're like surprised. Oh no, on my AMD GPU, why doesn't the TensorRT version work, or CUDA? I believe it defaults to CUDA. But yeah, it just tells you that you should adjust your settings before using TAS, please. Yeah, that's mainly it when it comes to the UI. Yeah, there's been some changes, as mentioned earlier in the start of the video, with the new changes to PyTorch and the latest version, which is 2.8.0 with CUDA 12.9. I've also seen some huge amount of improvements in terms of performance. I've also improved the encoding capabilities. Decoding has been switched again from Vaporcine to Celux, or Silux. Not sure how Spigen wants to pronounce it, but Celux, I guess, is a good word. Good way to pronounce it. I mean, yeah, this is not scripted, and I can tell I'm getting lost in my thoughts. Anyway, yeah, that's about it. I fixed most of the bugs, and thank you for using TAS. Have a wonderful evening.